Nazim, welcome back to Dunya Today. I'm joined here by British High Commissioner to Pakistan, Mr. Adam Thomson. And just before the break, we were still talking about the visa policy, which I think is very important to many people in Pakistan. Mr. High Commissioner, the point which I need to understand is that many people I talk to the attorneys, the lawyers who deal with it, many students before I came to discuss this thing with you, they think that if a face-to-face, if at least in the appeal process, there is a face-to-face opportunity for the students and for the visa applicants to explain themselves, it would be much more easier for them because, there's so many mistakes happen, so much misunderstanding takes place by purely assessment center.
I'm not a visa expert. I don't particularly dispute your point, but if we're having to deal with 130,000 applications a year and rising, we're just no longer able to do interviewing.
But I'm saying interview those people who have the appeal, who are in the administrative review. If you have 130,000 people, a few thousand of them you say are rejected, a certain percentage, they should have an appeal process inside Pakistan.
Maybe. At the moment, though, we have overcome the backlog on appeals, so we're turning them around much faster than we've been able to in recent months, I'm happy to say.
Another important thing that has happened in the last 2 years is that the students used to have a full-fledged appeal process, just like the relatives of the people who are being sponsored for Britain. But now that appeal process has been curtailed and reduced in the form of a formal administrative review. So students can't go to British courts in terms of the appeal, which itself is an important denial.
I'm not familiar with the detail there, Moeed, I have to say, in my first 6 weeks. But we are really committed to getting our visa decisions as right as we can. The appeal process is absolutely scrupulous. I know that's one of the reasons why it takes such a long time. And to repeat, I really do want to see genuine Pakistani students going in greater numbers to the UK. So we are constantly looking at ways in which we can streamline our processes to make them quicker, make them fairer. Indeed, we give people the right of appeal, which isn't the case in every country, and to do that within our business constraints, if you like, of both budget and volume.
No, I understand. I don't want to go into the technicalities now. I understand that, this is a different subject. But since we all emphasize upon the historical ties, what worries me is, I'm afraid, is that if Pakistanis cannot easily travel to Great Britain, cannot easily study medicine, professionally train in Britain, cannot study accounting or management or social sciences in Britain, which has been a source of great inspiration for the student community in this country, then those historical ties are at risk, which we're all so proud of it. For instance, look at this. The bogus colleges, after all, it's a fact that students were issued visas who went ahead to study in those one-room bogus colleges that never had the proper courses. And now the British government is looking into those bogus colleges. At the same time, students who were bound for universities like Oxford and Cambridge and London School of Economics, or universities in Manchester and Birmingham, like you missed, were denied the visas.
I completely agree with you on bogus colleges, which is why the British government is closing them down. It's looking very, very hard at them. 134 have been closed already, and there's a certification process. It's totally unfair to a Pakistani student to have handed over their money and find that they're not getting a genuine education. It's totally unfair to those who are going to genuine colleges in the UK to have their qualifications tainted by the sense that it might have been bogus in some fashion. But there is some responsibility, after all, on the Pakistani student to make sure that they are applying to a genuine place. And we've got a British Pakistani community in the UK that is driving this, is pulling this along, because it is flourishing.
How do you think this British Pakistani community can act as a bridge between Great Britain and Pakistan?
Well, in so many ways. They can be ambassadors for the UK. We've got wonderful role models in the British Pakistani community. We've got members of the British government, British ministers who are from the British Pakistani community. We've got members of parliament who are from the British Pakistani community, peers, that's lords in the House of Lords. We see Pakistanis in the British Pakistanis in the fields of entertainment and the media. One of your counterparts in the BBC, Mishal Hussain, for example. In sporting links, for example. There are so many areas where this is a community that is really emerging into the mainstream of British life.
Will you expect more Pakistani Britishers to be taking political roles and prominence in the forthcoming election?
Absolutely, yes. I haven't seen it documented, but I'm sure that general election by general election, British Pakistanis have played more of a political role. And that's something, when I talk to British Pakistani communities, I strongly encourage. They need to get stuck into British politics more fully than they have so far.
Coming back to the Pakistani, one thing I really wanted to ask you is, it's true that Britain plays a very important part in economic diplomacy, and DFID, the Department for International Development, is playing a very important role in financing so many educational and water projects and sanitation projects in Pakistan. But I wonder if Britain can actually help Pakistan in terms of greater market access in the European Union. I mean, a greater trade flow with European Union would benefit Pakistan much more than the aid.
Yeah, we'd very much like to see that. My DFID colleagues wouldn't recognize the phrase you've just used of economic diplomacy. What they're about is not diplomacy, they're about making things better in Pakistan. And I think in a modest way they really are succeeding in doing that. But there's no question that trade links would be and the expansion of those would be much more powerful for Pakistan's economy than almost any amount of assistance that the international community provides. I think I'm right in saying that only 4% of Pakistan's GDP is down to international development assistance. Far, far more, obviously, comes from trade. And so the UK has been absolutely at the forefront in the European Union in pushing for better market access for Pakistani goods. We think that's in our interest.
I wonder what form it can take, High Commissioner, because after 9/11, Pakistan had a preferential access as a terrorism-affected and stressed country. And recently, in the last, which actually lapsed in 2005 or 2006, and Pakistan's volume of trade with the European Union in textile has gone down. At the same time, we have seen in the last 3-4 years that Bangladesh economy has progressed very well because of a better preferential access to the European Union.
Yeah, we're working on that. It is a fact that the European Union's templates for international trading links have not served Pakistan particularly well. Pakistan is just a bit too wealthy, unfortunately. So we're looking at what short-term workarounds there are, and there have already been some pragmatic, practical steps, for example, on phytosanitary regulations and other technical stuff like that. We're also looking to see if we can develop with Pakistan more of a roadmap for its entire relationship with the European Union going forward over, say, the next 5 years or so that both the European Union and Pakistan have a sense of direction of travel on trade, certainly, but on also a much wider and deeper relationship more generally.
I just have a last question. We need to conclude this up. But I wonder what message you can carry to the Pakistani people, you can communicate in terms of, during your assignment as Britain's High Commissioner in Pakistan, what challenges you think will be undertaken, and how optimistic you are in terms of meeting those challenges. And also, if I didn't ask it again, the student community would think that I had betrayed them when I met you. Do you have any positive message for the student community who are so eager to go and study in Britain?
Yeah, well, I'll start with the last one first. My message is simple. Come to Britain, but do, for heaven's sake, make sure you're applying to a genuine college, and do, for heaven's sake, read our guidance and fill out your application forms comprehensively. The biggest problem is people don't complete their applications properly. More generally, yeah, what's my message? It is one of optimism. I think we can do good work together, Britain and Pakistan. One of my slogans for my staff is that we must talk with Pakistan and not at it, and I hope I will manage to do that. This sort of conversation is one example. And I hope that over my 3 years we can get beyond the short-term challenges of sorting out violent extremism and work together on some of the longer-term ones as well.
Mr. Thomson, thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Right, thank you.